welcome to what was supposed to be the last Q&A of 2013, but now is the first Q&A of 2014. My Dragons Q&A. I'm actually having a lot of fun with these really open subject-esque Q&As. Last one was dinosaurs, and now I'm like, after watching Desolation of Smaug, I was like, motherfucking dragons. But as always, I have guest stars, and I have one on here that his ugly mug is seen on here a lot, and one who only showed up is a very rare commodity, and I'm very pleased to have both of them on here. First and foremost, Sydpart2.
One of them who you call an ugly mug, so thanks, you know.
Yeah.
Really feeling the love here on Deadpoolzilla's channel.
You have a girlfriend. She gives you moral support. I'm not here for that. Also, speaking of which, say hi to the folks, Haley.
Hi.
Yeah.
People of the earth or something.
Yeah, that's Sydpart2's girlfriend, aka the girl he trapped in his house and won't let go.
Well, I mean, she can leave anytime she wants. All she has to do is cut off her legs. So, I mean, everyone acts like it's such a big deal. You know, freedom of choice here. Just saying.
She got Stockholm Syndrome.
Hey, I will kill you.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And also our other guest star is TheLadyKaylah.
Hi, everyone.
And it's actually kind of funny. I was actually looking through people to look for guest stars, and I told her this story a little earlier. I was basically saying, you know what? I'm doing a fantasy-type Q&A. Kayla does a lot of fantasy-esque videos. Let's see if she'll go for this idea.
Yeah, I love dragons.
Yeah. So anyway, without further ado, let's get on to the Q&A. But before we go any further, one last thing I want to mention is that, like last time, there were some people's questions that were blocked as spam, and I can't get around that, unfortunately, because I refuse to merge with Google and all that. Fuck that.
Wait, you can refuse? How?
They make it hard, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Shocked the hell out of me. This is the first I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Kudos, Deadpoolzilla, kudos.
Anyway, yeah, so unfortunately I can't get through all the spam stuff, so I deeply am sorry if you had a question that I didn't answer.
I'm going to try to look up your channel and see if I can view the comments marked as spam. So maybe we can do this. I don't know. I'll let you know if I can view it.
Alright, so hopefully, but if Sydpart2 can't do that, unfortunately, I can't get to all the other questions that were marked as spam, unfortunately, so I am very sorry for that. I deeply am sorry for that, but I will try to answer everybody's question to the best of my abilities. And the rest of apparently Geeky Gentlemen just came online. That's great.
That's funny. It's like we got that like sixth sense. We can tell when we're all online.
Or no, you just have that sixth sense of someone's in danger. Bill and Milan are coming to your rescue.
Right? I don't know, there's probably going to be another video where I'm like, that sounds cool, but I haven't heard of it.
Shut up, let's do this.
Okay.
Anyway, first question comes from the Omnitron12345, and he asks, okay, here's what he asks. If you could create a series in the same vein as American Dragon Jake Long, with dragons being able to take on human form and living in modern day, what would be the overall premise of the series? Would dragons be a secret or known? Would other magical creatures exist, and what would their strengths and weaknesses be? Just how would you build that kind of world? Did anyone see that show?
No.
I've seen clips of it. I know they did a cross... What? Okay, I've seen clips of it. I know they did a crossover with Lilo and Stitch at one point.
Yeah, Kayla, it was a Disney show where this kid was half human, half dragon. He could turn in between dragon and stuff. He was basically... Have you ever heard of like shows like Danny Phantom or My Life as a Teenage Robot? I was kind of like in that vein.
Well, I'm familiar with like dragons having humanoid forms. I've seen a couple of versions of that take being done.
Yeah, think that, but in a more like urban style.
I don't know. I don't know about this urban stuff.
Anyway, he's basically asking, what would we do if we had a show, if we could do a show kind of like that, like an urban form of like humans that can take on, dragons that can take on the form of humans and stuff like that. What would you guys do with that?
Alright. I would have dragons, be like, I'd do kind of like a crime show kind of thing. And you kind of keep doing dragons, like the people are taking the form of dragons. Kind of like, does it have to be an animated show, or can it be like live action?
He kind of left it open for either way you could do that. Live action.
Okay, I do it kind of like some of the modern vampire shows do, but with people that can turn into dragons and possibly other animals. How's that?
Okay.
It'd be like kind of a family crime drama thing.
I can see that.
Alright, what about you, Kayla?
I think I would definitely go for like an anime style, and I'd have like the whole dragonoid or dragons being like human I'd have that be like a very rare thing, like it's not typical, and that would be like part of their bloodline, like they can only turn into like dragons. I wouldn't do the whole multiple like animal changing thing, but I don't know the plot would probably be more fantastic based rather than like a crime show.
Okay. How I would do it is something like they're doing in True Blood, like, oh, vampires exist, but only with, oh, dragons exist, but the thing is, they kind of shapeshift, so we don't know who's dragon and who's not. Or another way, I don't know if any of you have seen this, probably not because it's such a terrible movie, called Anonymous Rex.
Nope.
It's a movie where it kind of takes the idea of that most dinosaurs didn't die, they evolved, and what they do is basically, they shapeshift, dinosaurs can shapeshift into humans.
God.
It was a sci-fi movie, like one of their early sci-fi movies. Like, it was terrible.
Is there a sci-fi movie that's not terrible?
Well, no. I was very close to saying Sharknado. But no. Anyway. I think it would be cool to see how the world would react. Now, I did have an idea for writing a story of basically dragons living in the modern world, but more like how I was going to do it was more like with basically because I don't really like the idea. I'm personally I'm more like the idea of dragons being more like smart animals, kind of like flying, fire-breathing sharks or killer whales. They're basically, I like them better when they're intelligent predators.
Yeah. Smaug.
Yeah. I don't even like it. Sometimes it kind of irks me when they talk. It's more like when they're more like just animals.
Oh, more
Oh,
animals.
so you like me like Rain of Fire?
Beings.
Yeah, Rain of Fire. Those kind of dragons.
Yeah. I can get into that.
I was actually kind of writing this story where dragons do exist in this world, and it was told through this through the story of a guy who works at Fort Knox, and most of you guys would know that Fort Knox is a place where they hold all the gold. And it's constantly being barraged by dragons because dragons love gold.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fun idea.
Yeah.
I'd read that.
I don't know, but in terms of something like that, I would have something. The whole shapeshifting thing, that's a little more difficult to say around because I'm not a big fan of that. I don't know. It's more of an Eastern style of dragon stuff, and I'm more a fan of the more European style.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you for that question, Omnitron. Next question comes from Grimlock1992, and he asks, what 4 dragons can you think of that can rule over the 4 corners of the earth? Mine are for the north Smaug, the south Quetzalcoatl, the east Baraki from Dragon Wars, and the west Deathwing from World of Warcraft. So what 4 if you could pick like 4 dragons to rule over like the 4 corners of the earth, which ones would you pick, guys? Kayla, let's start with you this time.
I'm not too familiar with like dragons in that sense. Like I'm like familiar with dragons in fantasy, but not like specific dragons. So I know Smaug, and he would definitely be a southern dragon because he's a fire breathing.
Yeah, he's a fire drake.
Yeah. But I'm not too familiar with like other dragons. Like dragons, which is more my thing. So going off of that, I would do silver for the north because they're good dragons, and then gold for the west, and they're also good dragons, and then I would do black for the east just to balance it out with another evil type dragon.
Okay, I can roll with that. What about you, Ian?
Okay. I'm gonna cop out and say Smaug just because that's the one whose name I know.
And don't worry, we're gonna get a lot of questions about Smaug.
Okay, well, I'm gonna cop out and just say that, even though I know nothing about him. I'm just gonna say that for whatever kingdom you guys choose. And then for the entirety of all the others, fucking Spyro, bitch.
Alright.
I love Spyro the Dragon.
Oh, don't worry, we're gonna get some Spyro questions, too.
Cool. That's the main reason why I just said yes to doing this video is because, believe it or not, coincidentally, Milan and I, in the next week or two, are going to be posting a Let's Play of the first Spyro game that we've already recorded. I've just got to get it edited and up and everything.
Yeah. Speaking of which, did you manage to pull up the other questions or not? The ones that were marked?
No, I was not able to, unfortunately.
Alright. Once again, I am deeply sorry for that, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, getting back to what Haley, Haley, how about you? You got anything to say, or are you just gonna laugh?
She doesn't know anything about dragons. She's just gonna laugh.
Okay, that's fine.
Dragon from Beowulf for one. There you go.
Oh, I got you, girl. I got you. Beowulf is
Yeah.
thing. Okay, I got you.
There we go.
Alright.
So I'm gonna count hers as one of mine.
Yeah. There you go.
Teamwork.
Alright.
See, relationships, everybody, relationships.
Alright, my 4 picks are, of course, Smaug, I'd say north, because he does live in like in a far northern environment. To the east, maybe Shenron from Dragon Ball Z. I'm going on a limb here.
Why didn't I think of that?
To
I
the
know, right?
to the west, I'd go with who would I pick for the west? Maybe Draco from Dragonheart. That dragon that was voiced by Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
I mean, you literally win if you have a dragon voiced by Sean Connery. And the south, I'm gonna say, who would I pick for the south? Because I used up all the other good ones. I got nothing really. I used up all the good ones, damn it.
You didn't say Spyro.
Okay, Spyro. Alright, so...
Spyro's a badass.
Alright, okay. Grimlock, thank you for that question, Grimlock. Next comes Alistair Boneman. Hope I'm saying that. I do apologize if I have mispronounced your name, sir. Next question, his question is, I know this may be an odd question, but I'm an odd person. But anyway, my question is, knowing that you prefer the Western dragons mythology to be more like beasts with intelligence behavior, how do you feel about dragons from Elder Scroll games? The dragons from the dragons from Game of Thrones. I feel these dragons are pretty awesome, especially from Elder Scrolls. And what do you feel about the dragon-human hybrid races?
I love the dragons from Game of Thrones.
And Elder Scrolls. Yes. Love that game.
I can't lie. Skyrim is pretty awesome.
It is epic. Freaked me out when the dragon started talking. I was like, oh, what?
I should have gone. You know what? I should have gone with the northern dragon. I put Smaug in the south and put Alduin in the north.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I got to ride on top of Alduin. It's pretty awesome.
That's who I should have picked. Like, how did I forget Alduin? Anyway, so basically he's asking, like, how do we feel about the whole dragon-human hybrid stuff, and as well as, like, the dragons, like, dragon behavior, and, like, how do we like our type of dragons, more or less, like, from Elder Scrolls and Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So we basically, I think what the general consensus is we both like both versions.
I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the Elder Scroll dragons, but I do know the Game of Thrones dragons are
said, I like them more as beasts, but I do have like there are moments where I do enjoy the whole talking thing, like again with Smaug and the dragons from Skyrim. And the other thing with like the Game of Thrones dragons is like they're the weapons of mass destruction in the Game of Thrones universe.
Right? They're the nuclear weapons. Yeah, I'm kind of half and half on it because I do like the idea of like just these like alpha predator kind of animals that just cannot be stopped by humans or any other kind of creature.
Yeah, like they are the apex predator of their world.
Yeah, but I also like occasionally when they do talk and stuff. I think an interesting way to cross it over, or a cool middle ground you could have, is they are just like a super smart animal for a long time, but if they spend enough time around people, they could learn to talk, kind of thing.
I can roll with that.
Kind of like the wolf boys kind of thing, like kids that were raised by wolves. They're kind of just a savage animal until they spend enough time around people that they can learn to talk and blah blah blah.
All right.
Because like most dragons, you can have them live for however long you want. And I've seen that they live for 1,000 years in certain fictions and stuff. So it'd be interesting if you could have a dragon that just survived long enough, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like dragons already dragons that I like, they just mature slowly, so they learn they just have all this time to learn, but because they mature so slowly, it takes a long time before they actually get to an immense size. So they're not too overpowered in that sense. But I still like them to be they get so intelligent the longer they live, because obviously with age comes intelligence. But I like them to always have that intelligence. I don't want them to be like parrots and learn how to talk when humans teach them. No, dragons are more intelligent than humans.
I didn't mean like that. I meant they learn. It's going to be the strangest example to point to.
If it's going to take more than 10 minutes, Ian, then forget it.
I meant Meowth. I meant Meowth from Pokemon.
I guess.
All right.
I can see that. I see where you're coming from.
All right. Oh yeah, before we go any further, what's our stance on the whole human-dragon hybrid thing? That was the second half of the question.
You can do whatever you want. I don't particularly care for it.
Yeah. My thing is, when you see stuff like Fire Breather and American Dragon and all that, I'm like, how does that work?
I don't like the whole idea of, dragons, mating with humans. When dragons turn into, a humanoid form and mate with humans and stuff. But I do like dragons being able to turn into humanoid forms, but I don't like dragon hybrids at all. I don't really like the idea.
Alright. Well, I guess, for me, you gotta, make it convincing. And so far, I've only seen so many stories that have that. Anyway, thank you for that question, Alistair. Next question comes from Green Arrow Hunter, and he asks, how would you write a TMNT Dragons crossover? I don't know, dragons are kind of up in the air, and they have had dragons in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles before. Hell, they became dragons in one series.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was this season finale, and the Shredder turned himself into this dark dragon god thing, and the Turtles were like, oh, we've got to activate our avatars and all that, our inner wild dragon spirits, and they turned to dragons, and it was one huge fight, and I'm like, this is the coolest damn thing I've ever seen. That was from the 2003 series. If anyone was wondering.
The old school kinds better.
And it still upsets me that James McAvoy, the original voice of the Shredder, died yesterday.
I know, sad
Right?
face.
Yeah, that does suck. But dragons and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. TMNT is the closest thing you'll see to the Silver Age anymore. I suppose you could do something like Shredder or Krang or whatever opens up some kind of vortex to the past or an alternate universe and brings in dragons.
Yeah.
And then, the dragons are too smart or too wild, depending on your preference, to be controlled. so the turtles and the villains have to team up to defeat them.
Yeah. I'd say, like, you could even go with the mutagen route. Like, maybe someone gets exposed to mutagen and it becomes, like, this dragon human, this dragonoid type thing.
Mm.
Yeah. That's how I do it. So everyone want to move on to the next question?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Ninja Turtles because it's been years.
It's fine. It's cool. So our next question comes from Wolfman the Impaler, and he asks, if you could have a conversation with 5 or more dragons or dragon-like characters, who would they be? His picks are Predaking, Spike, Draco, Dojo, Spyro, and Lockheed. Okay, 5 dragons. Draco, Smaug, without the fear of dying, Alduin, Lockheed, and Fin Fang Foom.
Spyro, I know his name, it's just not hitting me. Dragon Ball Z Dragon, help me out.
Shenron.
Shenron, thank you. It's just not, it seriously left my head for a second. Spyro, Shenron, Dark Shenron, whatever his name was from GT, because he was actually kind of interesting. Stretching, not coming up with anything. That's all I got.
Alright, what about you, Kayla?
Again, like, I'm not, like, too familiar with, like, specific dragons, but I have to do Smaug because he's the one who, like, set up everything I know about dragons and what I think about dragons.
Yeah.
And, most dragons are, like, set up as, like, evil anyways. Like, there's few dragons that actually would be willing to talk to people. So, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Alright. How you'd probably be talking to Smaug is just how, like, it would probably be pretty much like Bilbo, running around.
Yeah, like, if you flatter him, he'll, like, indulge in your presence. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. So thanks for that question, Wolfman. Next comes Marcus Keener, and he asks, what if the dragons from Reign of Fire crossed over into the universes of Gravity Falls, Predator, Black Lagoon, and Doctor Who?
Predator and Doctor Who, God, yes. I mean, I'm really trying to figure out why. Like, has there, Devilsville, you know more classic Who than I do. Has there been any Doctor Who and Dragon crossover?
Kind of. There's actually been kind of. In Sylvester McCoy's era, the 7th Doctor's era, who was actually Radagast the Brown. There you go. You just had your mind blown, people. For those who
I think the way I would do it, honestly, is I'd have the Doctor stop, you bullshit with the alien that looks like a dragon, blah, blah, blah. I'd have the Doctor stop a dragon that's somewhere in the Middle Ages, so he becomes, the
Oh, you know, it'd be cool if he was really St. George.
That'd be interesting. But like that's something I always like in Doctor Who, where he unintentionally makes history. So he unintentionally creates the myth surrounding dragons and knights and stuff. I would really enjoy that. And with Predator, that'd just be so cool.
Basically,
I like when they have to take down big game, and like I'm still driving myself crazy that no one's made another Predator movie where we start the movie by seeing it take down a T-Rex. I mean, really, why hasn't that happened?
Yeah, I don't like the Predators would come down. Earth is totally ruled by dragons. They're rather than we lost all the humans. They're like, holy shit! Look at this!
This is awesome.
Screw that Schwarzenegger guy. Let's go get some dragons. Yeah. In terms of the other show, the other ones is Black Lagoon, which is an anime, and Gravity Falls, which is a TV show, animated show that I watch from Disney. Much love for that. For me, for those two, it would be something. Actually, it's kind of funny with Gravity Falls is that there is a dragon story out there with Gravity Falls in it. So that's out there. Just throwing that out there. Anyway, also with Black Lagoon anime, that would be totally awesome as well because I love the Reign of Fire dragons. But anyway, have you got any ideas for at least with Doctor Who and this, Kayla?
I fiction kind of away.
All right. So, thank you for that question, Marcus Keener. Now moving on to Zach the Thunder King, and he asks, top 5 favorite fictional dragons. His are Spyro, Smaug, Lockheed, Fin Fang Foom, and Dojo from Xiaolin Showdown. So, for me, it's Smaug, and it's not in any order. Oh, excuse me. Choking on my own spit. This is embarrassing.
It's cool. I'll do a song and dance to
I'm good, I'm good. I'm saving the people from your voice.
Yes, please do.
Shut up. Alright, Smaug, Lockheed, Fin Fang Foom, Fafnir from the Norse mythology, and, what was that last one? Yeah, Alduin from Skyrim. So those are my 5. I know you're really not great with dragon names, Kayla, so you want to just pick one?
I feel like we've answered this question before, but Smaug's one of my favorite dragons.
All right.
And I like red dragons, and I believe silver dragons are my favorite.
Oh, that's
types.
all right. Cool. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Ian, what about you?
You know it already, Spyro, man.
Well, you got 4 others. Jackhole.
No. Of course not. You have heard the outs of only naming one dragon, but I don't get to only name one dragon? The hell, man? Sexism on Deadpoolzilla's channel, right
That's
there.
not sex. I was being nice because she said multiple times she's not good with dragon names.
Neither am I.
Well, you're an idiot, so it's fun to pick on you.
Yeah, I'm about as smart as you, bud.
Well, it makes me feel smarter that I pick on you.
Whatever you have to do to feel good about yourself while you're crying yourself to sleep at night, man.
And it helps. It helps. This is not helping at all with our question. Anyway, all right, Spyro.
Why don't you go name off some dragons when you're alone tonight?
You man. Anyway,
Right now.
shut up. All right. Next question comes from Death Christ 2000. If given free reign on a Lockheed one-shot, what would you make about it? Lockheed, the dragon from X-Men. The little alien dragon from the X-Men comics that follows Kitty Pryde around. With me, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I like Lockheed, but I don't know if I'd do anything with that character. What about you, Ian?
I have no idea. Kitty Pryde's the one that can walk through walls, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd have the dragon try to follow her through a wall, and it ends up just knocking her through, and it just turns into slapstick. That's all I got. Because I really love to do. Every time I see Kitty Pryde, this is the only thing I can ever think of. Is I want her to be having a really in-depth conversation with someone while they're walking, and she just goes through a wall, and they just right into it. So that guy. That's all I got.
All right. So you guys want to move on to the next question?
What was this question exactly?
It was basically writing a one-shot story on the character of this little alien dragon from X-Men called Lockheed.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. It's a good question. I just don't know what to do with it. I don't know what I do with the character is what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know anything about that character. And I just came up with, like, so many different, like, more dragons, like, right now, and I'm like, god damn it, like...
That's fine. Anyway, next question comes from Kyle Reese. I'm not kidding.
Sorry, everyone. I find that really funny because we were watching Terminator 1 and 2 earlier today. That's hilarious.
So, Kyle asks, which genre setting would you like to see dragons in more besides a fantasy era? Well, I would like to see more modern era dragon stuff, like how the modern world would handle dragons in general. Because I'd like to see if dragons could hold up against, like, planes, and, jet planes and tanks, and... Like, would there be a world where, military... would dragons still be able to live in a world of a modern world?
That sounds like... God, someone did something like that with dinosaurs, though.
Wasn't that...
Or with zombies. Like, there was a zombie outbreak, but it just wasn't a big deal because everything was so super organized. So they just had, like, all the zombies corralled instantly, and, like, there was a petting zoo within a week. And then, like, I think it'd be hilarious to see something like that with dragons, where it starts out and it seems like it's going to be all, like, rain of fire, but all of a sudden you just, like, you can go to a dragon petting zoo and get your own pet dragon or some shit. I think that'd be hilarious. Not as, like, a whole movie, but just as, like, a short skit or something, I don't know.
Alright.
I can definitely see a short skit version of that.
Alright. I don't know, like, that's me. I'd like to see more modern setting. Like, there's actually... Someone came with this really badass idea for dragons, basically called... It was a story... It was actually the guy... If you've ever heard of this guy called Blood Runs Clear, he does these amazing fake trailers. And he basically made this one that a friend made, a story that a friend came up from called Dixie and the Dragons, which was basically dragons in the Civil War.
Oh, neat.
Oh, that does sound tight.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a dragon in the Thor films, in the Marvel Thor films. Thor films. It's hard to say. I would like to see him fight a dragon in that. That'd be cool.
Well, he has the frickin' World Serpent.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd just like to see, a Marvel dragon, or just do something to make Thor a bit more... either go full fantasy or full sci-fi with it, I guess.
Alright. Kayla, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, like, we'd have to, like, make dragons fit into the modern world, because you can't just take, like, a typical fantasy dragon and fit them in there, because we have, like, modern weapons, and all that, dragons would be extinct, like. So we'd have to, like, maybe if dragons were made a bit smaller, and they could be used or harnessed in a type of way, and then you fit them into, like, a more modern setting, because if they're just, like, evil creatures out to, like, harm people, we could take them out, like, no problem in this world. So we'd have to fit dragons into a more modern setting. That's it.
Yeah. I think that would be a cool idea. With me, again, it's with modern era, but I would make them a little more intelligent, like able to speak or something like that, or, I would either go with that route or the wild animal route, where they're not really evil, they're just creatures of habit, and they're kind of endangered species. Certain dragons are endangered, and they are under, like, protection of, like, the Conservation Act and stuff like that.
That would be hilarious, because I'd love to see, like, just a short scene in a movie where you got people picketing the White House, save dragons, you got the, like, the protesters, people protesting the protest, and they're like, we want to hunt dragons, it's our right as Americans.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like, there'd be people looking for, like, dragon hunting licenses.
That'd be the shit, wouldn't it?
I think, like, if we had, like, an element of, like, there's a reason why dragons need to exist, like, why they can't go extinct.
Yeah, maybe, like, they reproduce, maybe because they reproduce fast or something.
Yeah, so, like, nobody, like, people who want to hunt dragons and people who want to conserve dragons, there'll be, like, a little bit on each side, like, sympathy for both sides.
Yeah. Like, maybe there are certain dragons that can, like, the Rain of Fire dragons could spawn, like, fish, like, rapidly. But maybe you could have, like, some dragons can do that, but other dragons are like blue whales. It takes them years to even, like, lay eggs or something.
Just sitting there for a really long time. Sorry, stupid joke, I know I'm done.
Yeah. So any other ideas for that?
Like I said, I'd like to see Doctor Who do dragons in the Middle Ages, and you can sci-fi it however you want. But that's about the only sci-fi, but, whatever.
There's actually a sci-fi movie. It's not bad. I mean, it's not great either, but it's not bad. It's basically a retelling of Moby Dick, but with dragons. And it has Danny Glover as Captain Ahab.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's hunting.
How I feel about that.
And he's hunting the Great White Dragon.
So could they possibly be more on the nose about it, do you think?
Yeah. Anyway, that's really all we have to say about that question. But thank you so much for that question, Kyle. Next up is ActionFan19, and he asks if you could have a dragon form, a dragon from the DreamWorks Dragon franchise, which would it be? And this includes specials and TV series. Okay, basically, what dragon would we want from the How to Train Your Dragon series?
Oh my god, there's the one that has all the bones on, like, the outside of it, or, like, it collects bones from other dragons and wears them. That thing looks so fucking cool.
I know, I haven't really watched a lot of, and it's weird too, because I love dragons so much, but I don't really faithfully watch the Dragons animated series, How to Train Your Dragon animated series. So
I didn't even
weird.
know they had a series.
Yeah, they're on the second season now.
Wow.
And they're getting a second movie.
I just caught a clip of it. Like, I thought it was just like a little holiday special or something. I just got a clip of it. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. Kayla, have you ever seen How to Train Your Dragon?
I've seen the movie, but I haven't seen the show.
Yeah. Well, okay, guys, which dragon would you want from that series?
I would. Mine's gonna be so like typical, like the main dragon. Like,
Toothless.
that dragon's BA. It's all stealthy and stuff. You can be all rogue status. Like I don't know.
It's basically like the stealth bomber of dragons.
Yeah, I like that thing.
Yeah, the Night Fury. For me, I'm gonna go with what's that dragon's name? I don't know. It's called what was it? Deadly Natter? Yeah, that one. The blonde chick had. The Astrid. Her name was Astrid. That thing looked cool. I mean, it could fly and it has tail spikes that can shoot out like arrows. And I'm like, I want that dragon. That looks awesome. It took me a minute when I said that chick. I was like, oh, I know that one's name. Astrid. That's it. Because I just. And it's weird too, because again, there was another character on Doctor Who named Astrid, which was an episode I just watched. I'm connecting these weird dots. I'll shut up now.
Next thing you know, you have your own like sci-fi fantasy thing going on, right?
Yeah. No. I'll have like that Rorschach type of, connecting the dots from tiny little things.
Thread all the way across the room and shit.
Yeah. It's like, there's a pattern here. Anyway, thank you for that question, Action Fan. Next comes from Victor Massacre, and he asks, do you like the Drakengard dragons?
I'm familiar.
I know Drakengard comes from somewhere. It sounds so familiar too, and I should know this. Ian, do you have an idea?
No clue whatsoever.
It sounds familiar because it's like Drakengard. Oh, that sounds so freaking familiar. Oh my god. Oh, from the PS2 games. Oh, it's those old PlayStation 2 games. I haven't played a lot of them. It's been a long time since I played Drakengard, so I couldn't tell you. I mean, it was cool, don't get me wrong, but there's so little of it I remember.
No clue, never even heard of it.
So I probably did like it. It's just I haven't played it in a long time. But what I remember was kind of cool, so I'll give you that. Sorry for the half-assed answer, Victor Massacre. I just can't remember it off the top of my head very well, so I do apologize for that. Do you guys want to move on to the next question?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay, Jake Bat asks, if Guillermo del Toro were to make a another Pacific Rim type movie, but with dragon-like Jaegers, what would be the perfect Jaeger name for a dragon Jaeger. Basically, if we could get like mecha dragons.
Fire breather.
Oh, you are so original. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. I've been called the voice of a generation. I don't not like the title. But more seriously, I don't know, hot and scaly. They're supposed to be named kind of like the old old airplanes in World War II and stuff. So it's gotta be two words most of the time. I guess, I don't know, something, mean bitch, how's that?
I can go with that. It's like, look out, it's the dragon mean bitch. It's red, oh my god, you gotta run away when it's colored red.
I don't really have a lot for that. I mean,
Yeah.
I like names to be thematic to the story, so I guess I'd have to know in what context this story is occurring. Where
Well, he's just saying like out in the open, like what will be the names for these Robo Dragons?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to say. Is I like names to be to work in the context of the story.
Yeah.
So I'd have to know like what the premise is for why we have to build Jaegers shaped like dragons now.
I mean, just think about like robot dragons. So
Does that not sound awesome?
I'm trying to think like something like metallic, and then you have to add like Drake or like at the end or something.
I don't know, Iron Claw or something.
Oh wow!
Iron worm or something like that.
So
How do you say it when dragons are called like worms? What are they? How do you pronounce that?
I think it's Wyvern.
No, that's a different one. I'm talking when it's I think it's spelled WYRM.
I know what you're saying now. Wyvern is a totally different species. I think it is worm. It's just spoken differently.
Okay, yeah. It's just a different context, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know how to pronounce.
Alright. Anyway, you guys want to move on to the next question?
Yes, please.
Alright. Malangar asks, my question somehow disappeared on the last video, so I'm posting it again just in case. In which of the TV series and movie dragons, animated or CGI, do you think looks best? And he's not counting... it's basically dragons before Smaug. Like, any dragon from movie...
Smaug technically is old.
Well, I mean, like, when Smaug appeared in Desolation of Smaug and how he
Let's
looked...
just try to, like, exclude Smaug from the conversation.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. That's what I mean. He says everything before Smaug. His pick was Draco from Dragonheart.
Well, now that I'm starting to remember dragons, actually, I really loved the one from Spirited Away, the Miyazaki Spirited Away.
Oh yeah, that's a cool one.
Or whatever. Ikigo. I don't know. I'm not Japanese.
Ian, what about you?
Well, I'm gonna say the ones from Reign of Fire. They just look fantastic. I still see that movie on TV every so often. They blended really well with the rest of the environment, just from the visual aesthetic side of things, and they looked really cool as well. So
Yeah.
I like everything about them.
All right.
I still love that cover, that like big cover of Time magazine with all the dragons attacking New York.
Yeah, that is a really
That's the coolest thing.
That is a really good image. For me, I think the best looking dragons are, I'm going to agree with Ian, is that they are the ones from Reign of Fire, but Draco comes in a close second, and followed by that, I'm going to say in terms of animation, like TV series, it's a tie between the 70s cartoon, Smaug. For those who don't know, there was a Hobbit animated movie that had Smaug in it. I was talking like people who didn't know that, because there are like a handful of people who didn't know there was an animated film.
Dude, yes, I watched that recently, so I didn't know about it.
Yeah, I was just referring to people who didn't know. So that's in terms of it, but I'm gonna say this is a weird pick, but I'm gonna say the Maleficent dragon from Sleeping Beauty.
Oh yeah, that one was beautiful too.
Yeah. I mean, when that thing just comes out of the fire, it's just like, oh shit. You know the prince shit his pants when he saw that.
Yeah.
I like
chose
one
Kate
from.
because he's so different. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say I kind of like the one from the live-action / animated Disney movie, Enchanted or whatever that was, and the ones in Harry Potter looked really good. The Thorntail dragon, whatever it was.
The Hungarian horntail?
Yeah, and of course the ones in Game of Thrones look really cool, and they're just little babies.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Those things are like pups right now.
Yeah. What were you trying to say earlier, Kayla?
Oh, I was just saying I chose the one from Spirited Away because it's so different from like your stereotypical lizard type dragon or the reptilian based dragons. He has bird looking feet, a snake like body, fur, these beautiful whiskers, cat like, fox like actually face. He's just really beautiful.
Yeah, very Eastern. Well, he is obviously an Eastern dragon. There's another dragon I want to bring in that I don't know if you guys ever heard of this TV show. It was like a Power Rangers ripoff, but it had magical knights. It was an old Fox Kids TV show, and it had this dragon called Pyre, and he was awesome. And there was this other dragon that he fought that had 3 heads and could shoot different types of fire out of each mouth.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm trying to remember, what was that show called? The Knights of the Mystic Realm, I think?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, Knights of the Mystic Circle, I think that's what it was called. Nope, I'm totally thinking of something else. It is Knights of something.
Yeah.
But for those who know what I'm talking about, please tell me because because it just sounds so familiar. They had this dragon called Pyre, and he was awesome. But anyway, so thank you for that question, Malangar. Next comes James Fan 1991, and he asks, "What do you think about the Dragon Predaking?" Basically, this is a Transformers question. I like the design of Transformers Prime Predaking. He looks cool. The voice actor for him is awesome. It's actually kind of funny because he's the same guy. When I thought about it, he's from Spartacus. But people would know him best for being the guy that Leonidas kicked in the pit in 300.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. That's it's the pit.
Does he say at any point this is madness?
And he does say this is insanity.
Close enough.
Yeah. But no, I really like the design of Predacon.
That would be a really hilarious reference if, the Autobots were attacking him and shit, and he was all like, "This is madness," and Optimus Prime just kicked him in the chest.
And he's like, "This is Archon!"
I've literally never heard of this character before, so I got nothing on this besides stupid jokes.
Yeah. But no, Predaking's design was really cool. He's like a cybernetic he's basically one huge dragon that tears shit up. His robot form's pretty cool. He's just an all-around cool character, more or less. So thank you for that question, James Fan. Next question comes from Mitch Meister. And he asks, in your opinion, could Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones could have taken control and tamed Smaug from The Hobbit? I'm actually going to let Kayla take the reins on this one first.
First of all, hell no. As much as I love Daenerys, that's my girl. She's working with, we were talking about earlier, more beast-like dragons. They're like animals. Obviously, they're dangerous animals, you try to tame a tiger or something, but they're still animals. In Tolkien's world, that's not how they work. They're a race of beings. That's like you trying to tame another human being who already knows what freedom is like.
And this human being breathes fire.
That's not going to go down. And Smaug's an old dragon. He's an old-ass dragon. He's huge. You can't tame an old-ass dragon that already knows his shit. And plus, he's a red dragon, which automatically makes him evil. His alignment's going to be counter which Daenerys is, so they wouldn't even team up. They wouldn't even so much as team up. And he's older. He's not going to within like 2 minutes of meeting. Like, that's all I need to say.
Yeah. So that's basically not only how that's literally how it would go down. You know, Smaug being like, fuck your shit. You ain't the mother of me.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think Daenerys has this really interesting part of her character. I would say, yeah, there's no way she could tame him, but Daenerys has this interesting part about her character that just draws people, or just to broaden it out, draws intelligent life forms to her side in one way or another. She's just got that kind of magnetic personality, so I think she could conceivably convince Smaug not to kill her and possibly help her if she could make it benefit him somehow. I don't know.
Maybe. But still, he's an evil dragon, so even if they do team up, chances are he's gonna kill her anyways.
Yeah, and
or at least
everyone
attempt
following
to.
her? Yeah.
So like even if she cause his thing is pride and treasure. Those are his two weaknesses. This is pride and this love of treasure. And so she can convince him to like work with her for treasure, but after that she's done. Like she's done.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think that she's a pretty clever character. The thing is, the problem everyone has with Daenerys is they always underestimate her. So that's probably what Smaug would do as well.
I understand that, and I took all that into consideration because, like I said, I love Daenerys, but they're from two different universes, and so I took
I get that. I'm just saying,
universe
I
and
think she
hers.
could angle something.
I think she could maybe make something work, but at the same time, like there would be a point where they'd have to split. There was no way they could have like a continuous relationship.
Yeah.
Unless he falls in love with her. There you go.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
Well, I don't even know like Tolkien's like version of like dragons when it comes to relationships. So.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's fan fiction out there of like Smaug Daenerys.
Oh, dude, I don't doubt that. Oh my god.
Someone just sent Deadpoolzilla thousands of PMs with links to fan fiction.
Hey, how about you don't?
Blog.
Hey, how about we don't and say we did?
How about we do? Like, dude, you gotta tell me if anyone sends you a single link, because I will laugh forever.
I'm not,
If you can't find any, write them, and Deadpoolzilla will read all of them.
Shut up!
But I like making promises on your behalf.
Disregard Sydpart2, he's being a cockbite right now. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that, that's probably bad. There's probably is fan fiction out there that's good, it's just not my forte.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I find it, I'll be like, oh, it's there. I'm not going to read it because it's not my forte, but getting back to the original conversation, I would actually, not so much I know that Daenerys couldn't tame him, but I would like to see at least a conversation between Smaug and Daenerys.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially since their alignments like clash, that would be a really interesting conversation.
Yeah. Like, I think Smaug would have nothing but, a lot of disdain for her, but at the same time he would kind of, find interest in, why this girl is just so noble in her own sense.
And he's, really intelligent, and she's intelligent, too. So, it won't be oh, I'm evil, I'm this big evil dragon. He'd actually have some, fucking interesting, reasoning behind why he thinks the way he does. And so would she. Because I get tired of this whole, oh, I'm evil, but there's no good reasoning behind it. He'd back himself up.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was just a hatchling, my father didn't take me to the circus.
Oh, God.
Smaug is on this huge-ass couch, and Daenerys is there writing a pen pencil.
There you go. Someone write that fan fiction and send it to Deadpoolzilla.
How about we
Then
don't?
It'll turn into, a Joker Harley Quinn thing, we need to stop giving people
to send you links is if you go to the next question.
Fine, asshole. Next question comes from King Nazaru, and he asks, if you could wish Shenron to erase one bad superhero movie out of existence, which would it be?
Catwoman.
You got one, Kayla?
I don't have like a superhero movie, but I can say the Dragon Ball Z movie.
Yeah, that kind of correlates, so I could... Yeah, that works. Oh, man, they're so bad. Haley, do you got one?
No idea.
Alright.
Batman and Robin.
Hey,
I got you there too.
Hey, with Batman and Robin, I have like a stupid appreciation for it. Mr. Freeze makes a great drinking game.
Yeah.
I believe, I went through and counted them one time. I believe there's 86 puns in that movie.
I usually lose count at 20 because I am so drunk.
You just get alcohol poisoning playing that game.
Yeah. Anywho, for me, I'm kind of torn between. It's a three-way tie between not so much a superhero movie, The Last Airbender, Catwoman, and the not director's cut of Daredevil. If it was the director's cut, I'd say save it. If it's not the director's cut, then wish that away and leave the director's cut of Daredevil.
All right.
Anyway, next question comes from Goku48071. Hey, we know this guy, Ian.
We do?
Well, Bill knows him.
I mean, I might know him. I just don't recognize the username. Who is it?
I forget his real name, but he's done videos with Bill. Oh, wait, I'm not.
Are you thinking of Super DM64?
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. But this guy is familiar.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, I think he's more of a friend with Dan Torrey, actually.
Oh, okay.
So bit of a mix-up. My bad. Anyway, but I do know you, Goku. I do know you. I think. Do I? Probably. More than likely. I'm gonna shut up now because I'm rambling now. Anyway, his question is: Have you seen either Dungeons and Dragons movies sequels? And yes, what are your thoughts on them?
I play D&D. I do not want to touch any movies.
Oh, the movies. Okay, the first movie and all the sequels following are terrible. But the one thing that I love about the movies is Jeremy Irons. He is so outrageously evil, it's hilarious.
I've only seen the first movie, none of the sequels.
Me too.
The sequels are on Sci-Fi. So you answered your own question.
You said enough.
Yeah, I've said enough said. So yeah, the movie, it's terrible, except Jeremy Irons, he's awesome. Because he's literally like, I'm in a terrible ass movie. I'm going to play the not give a fuck character. Alright, thank you for that question, Goku. Next question comes from Aaron Izzard. Again, I hope I'm saying that name right. I apologize if I haven't. What do you think about, and this is an idea for a book a friend of mine wrote a while ago, World War II Luftwaffe Dragons and Royal Navy Sea Serpents. Basically, he's at, like, what if World War II had sea serpents and dragons instead of, like, tanks and airplanes?
Why can't we have both?
Well, then it would kind of, like, defeat the purpose now, wouldn't it?
No, you have fucking World War II era planes fighting alongside with dragons. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it would work better with both because sea serpents, like, they can't. Obviously, if you're on their back, you can't really go under the water or anything, and there's only so much room. Where are you gonna hold the weapons and stuff?
Get an epic ass like shot of a sea serpent coming up from the water with a fucking U-boat in its mouth and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, like
That sounds badass, man. Fucking let me see that book.
yeah, and the German Air Force dogfighting dragons over Cairo or something.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I don't know, like, what kind of dragons would you have in place of tanks? Or, fight tanks? I don't know, like, those armor type, like, those heavy, those ground, like, earthbound dragons, the wingless ones.
Yeah, some, like, the kinds with the really big horns and stuff that are, like, fire-breathing bulls, I guess, more than... Kind of like the Triceratopses that breathe fire, let me put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, this actually sounds way awesome.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, let's have
Like,
both.
why can't Sci-Fi Channel make movies like this?
They do, they're terrible.
Yeah, but you could just turn off the audio and then just watch the action scenes, and it'd be epic as fuck.
It's kind of like watching Dragon Wars. That movie is goddamn terrible. But the thing is, when they get to the scene of when the dragon's army, the dragon army invades San Francisco or Los Angeles or whatever city, and they fight the army, that's the only scene you care about.
Right?
Yeah. You've seen Dragon Wars, right, Ian?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the scene everyone cares about. It's like that big when the giant Imugi dragon serpent MacGuffin villain comes in with his army and the army fights the dragons. And
That's pretty cool.
yeah, that's the only scene I give a shit about. Anyway, so you guys want to move on to the next question?
Yep.
All right, next question comes from Jerkwater100. He asks, if you could have a chance to feed one annoying celebrity to a dragon, who is it going to be?
Miley Cyrus.
Lady Gaga.
I don't think of, like, people who just say, like, Justin Bieber. There's someone who's actually, like, disrespectful. Like, Miley Cyrus and Lady Gaga, they don't really do anything to other people, but Justin Bieber...
They make music and I have to listen to it.
I don't have to listen to them. I'm like, nope.
I don't know.
I have to work. I have this thing called a job, and they play pop music all day, so yeah.
Oh, God.
I would pick somebody who's actually annoying. Like, someone I don't... Well, actually, not so much annoying, more like, this is a horrible human being.
Exactly what I was going for. Like, if I'm going to take an opportunity, like, I can deal with other people's music, but if I can take the opportunity to take someone out that's actually, like, a bad person, I will.
If I could feed one person to a dragon, it would be Kim Kardashian, because she serves no purpose. Or, the entire cast, if I could, the entire cast of... Well, actually, no, just Snooki and JWoww. Let's get rid of... They're
But
just...
Snooki wants Snoo Snoo.
Oh, God.
Ah. Don't you put that evil on the dragon, son?
The dragon would be like, oh, fuck that shit. I'm not getting herpes in my mouth.
Alright. So I guess move on to the next question?
Yep.
Alright, thank you for that question, Jerkwater. Nobody Die Z asks, what do you think would happen if Stitch ended up on Burke and met the... basically, the question is a Lilo and Stitch How to Train Your Dragon crossover. How do you think that would go?
I want to see Stitch ride a dragon now.
Yes.
Ugaba!
It'd probably just be like some cheesy, like they get together, like our friends and stuff, like kind of a thing.
Yeah, especially like I'd love to see like Stitch on the back of Toothless with like little lasers firing everywhere. He's like, aloha!
I can see that. They do like little like mini adventures together.
Yeah, Stitch and Toothless mini-sodes. Alright. Next, thank you for that question. That was kind of a quick one, more or less. So thank you for that question, Nobody Dies, or, again, I really hope I didn't just butcher your name, my apologies. Next question comes from Luke Lightcap, and he asks, if you could take any dragon and turn it into a Predacon from Transformers Prime, who would it be and what would it look like? Basically, okay, the question basically is, if we could turn a dragon into a transformer, what kind of dragon would we want?
I don't know, like a transformer, so I'd want it to be tall. So I'm thinking more like a dragon that looks like Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
So it'd be like tall, big, bulky, and like if I could somehow work in acid in there somehow, I think this would be awesome.
Alright, me, it would have to be like, I'd like to see an ice drake. Or, is it ice drake or frost drake, or what they call them? Yeah. Frost drake would be a cool transformer. That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, that would be my pick. Ian, what about you?
Okay, I want to see a robot Spyro be a boss, so let's go with that.
Okay. Alright, alright, thank you for that. I guess move on to the next questions. Thank you for that question, Luke Lightcap. Next comes from Dylan Malone 14. Again, I hope I'm saying that name right. My apologies. What kind of dragon characters do you want to see made into a comic or manga? What kind of... Okay, basically, I guess the question is, what kind of species of dragon would we like to see, like, a manga or comic based around?
I think you could do some interesting things with kind of like a Shenron, like super intelligent, kind of wish-granting dragon, and maybe he has kind of like that mischievous genie kind of thing going for him, so you could kind of do it like Tales from the Crypt-ish, where people like find the dragon, they wish something, and then the dragon tells you about what happens to them, or we see what happens to that person after they get their wish, and it's, you know, goes terribly wrong all the time.
Okay. I
That's
guess...
seriously right off the top of my head, so...
Alright. I guess we could also use dragons' characters, like, I'd like to see a story, like a comic book miniseries, not like an ongoing, but more like a miniseries chronicling, like, the early days of, like, the origin of Smaug. I don't know. That's what I could think of off the top of my head. What about you, Kayla?
I can't think of any like characters, but I would like to see like dragons kind of being like extinct, but they can take human form. So maybe like a human form dragon, like trying to figure out how to survive in like a world that doesn't really believe in dragons anymore and stuff like that. I don't know.
Alright. Alright, so thank you for that question. Dylan Malone, again, I apologize if I completely butchered your name. Again, apologies. Okay, this question, Ian, you better be all set, because this is more or less your question.
Yep.
Like, this is all for you. Like this.
Mind if I read it out, too?
Yeah, yeah, you can read it out, and I will let you get first dibs on talking about this, like, the whole shebang.
Okay. Travis Herndon, whatever. Your name is now pronounced Travis Herndon, even if it's not.
It's Travis Frendon. That's the. Again, we apologize if we've completely messed your last name up.
No. This is how he's going to pronounce his name from now on. Because I don't apologize.
Don't be mean. Don't be a jerk.
I'm just teasing. Alright, so if Travis asks, if Nickelodeon Studios wanted you to create a Spyro the Dragon cartoon series, what would be the main plot and main characters, etc.? I would pick Spyro, Sparks, Hunter as the main characters, and maybe one of the Skylanders, like Stealth Elf. I haven't played any Spyro stuff since, the very early PS2 games, I think. Honestly, I only remember the first 3 games off the top of my head. So, I think the way to do it would be similar to what was done with Sonic, and the second Sonic animated series, the one that everyone loves. You do Spyro and Ripto again, because Ripto is the big bad name for Spyro. You do Spyro and Ripto, and what would be interesting, and this is something I've had in my head for a while, is I would really like to see something where the premise of the episode of a cartoon show can also be the premise for a level of a game. So by the time you get to the end of a season of a cartoon show, you're also at the end of a game, kind of boss fight thing, but you got to do it in a more clever way than every single episode's a video game plot. I think that'd be really fun because you could also put a game out that plays through the season. That'd be really cool.
Didn't they try that for what was that video? Defiance? It didn't go so well.
I've never heard of it, so maybe.
I don't know. That just seems like spending a lot of money for one thing. I mean, we already got the Skylanders thing. Skylanders could easily work as an animated show.
I've never touched anything with Skylanders, though I do want a Spyro figure, just because I always wanted a Spyro figure.
I'll work on it.
Thank you. Anyway, though, I don't like Hunter. I was always annoyed by Hunter. Even, like, I'm still annoyed by Hunter after replaying the games. Recently getting ready for these Let's Plays. Yeah, do not like Hunter. Sparks is cool. I don't want Sparks to talk. Just give me a Spyro series. Let him beat up Ripto. You know, it'd be fun. I'd do it a lot like the second Sonic animated series.
All right. Yeah, I could see that. I've played a few Sonic Spyro games. I almost said Sonic. Spyro games, and the one I really liked the most was when all the dragon eggs are captured. What was that one called?
I believe that's Year of the Dragon.
I think you're right. And he had all these other friends you could do play as other characters, like this penguin with missile launchers and.
Yeah, and you could be like the kangaroo and stuff. I remember that.
Yeah. I could go with that kind of universe, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything on this, Kayla?
No, I don't know anything about Spyro.
Aw, boo.
All right. Thank you for that question, Travis. Next question comes from Earthbound again, and he asks, in many fantasy RPGs, dragons have different breath weapons depending on their color and species. Excluding fire since it's most associated with dragons, what is your favorite breath-type weapon for a dragon?
Mine's acid, because I just think that's cool.
Well, thanks for taking my Transformer idea. No, I don't know, when I think dragons, I just always think fire. Typically.
But any preferences to other, like, breath-type weapons? Defenses, I mean?
I always liked the acid and fire.
Lightning would be cool.
I never thought of lightning, but that actually would be a really awesome, like a storm dragon. That'd be freaking awesome.
Yeah, like a thunder drake or something. For me, it's ice.
Yeah, it's like Skyrim where they have the fire and then they also have the ice. I really like that concept.
Well, the thing is, like, I like ice drakes. I don't know why. Maybe I just like the idea of something cold-blooded can generate ice. Weird. It's weird.
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, oh, it's cold-blooded, so it's generating something cold. Okay. But I can see like dragon, like people, like some people have like made dragons like they're warm-blooded reptiles because of the fire they generate inside of them. I don't know, but again, ice just seems cool. I mean, I've seen a lot of cool things done with ice dragons. So next question comes from Serpent Tilada. I deeply apologize because I always feel like I butcher your name, Serpent. So Serpent asks, if Europe and Asia have their iconic dragons, who would be the iconic dragons? I mean, Europe and Asia, excuse me. Europe and Asia, since Europe and Asia have their iconic dragons, who would be the iconic dragons for America, South America, Africa, and Australia? Like, what kind of dragons would we see in those kind of environments?
That's an odd one.
I think some of them already have their own versions of dragons.
Yeah, South America has like the feather type ones that were like gods.
Okay.
That kind of makes sense with America, because I think it would help to associate the dragons in these other countries with their own national animal.
Yeah.
Like associate feathers for America because of the eagle, maybe? Not sure what the other country's animal is, but...
The feather was for South America because they were natives. be honest.
That got in your head, huh?
Just build their own dragon.
Like, America would.
Yeah. It's like, America!
I
Dragons!
don't feel like I'm entitled to, like, saying any other country's dragon, though, to be honest.
Yeah. Although I think something along the lines of, like, Australia's dragons, they'd be smaller, because it's a smaller continent.
No. Australia's dragons would be huge, and they would do nothing but kill everyone they see.
Well, I think, like, since it, it kind of falls under that whole evolutionary law of, a smaller, smaller space, everything has to downsize a bit.
Well, then how big were the original animals that were left on Australia? Have you seen an Australian earthworm? Have you seen it?
Yeah, that was millions of years ago. Everything had to downsize in a couple million years, I mean.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like that. Then it doesn't have to be small. Its ancestor can just be really, really big and murdery.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing is, it will actually be smaller, but like 20 to 30 times more deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, since we're going with association here, these kind of like if we were to go with an Australian dragon, they'd be venomous because a lot of their serpents are they have the most dangerous serpents in the world in Australia.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'd say about these kinds would be like pack hunters as well. Like there'd be 10, 15 feet long, very quick.
Some like Jurassic Park, like raptor type thing.
Yeah,
going on.
think flying raptors with.
Oh God, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any better.
Well, again, it falls under that animal association of they have dingoes, which are pack hunters, and you have again the serpents that are very venomous.
Okay.
Yeah. As for Africa, I don't really know. South America already technically has one. America, I'm going with the Dragontron that Kaylah came up with.
America's jealous that everyone else has dragons, and we don't want a dragon gap, so we build our own.
Yeah, and then it starts the Dragons arm race.
It's like the Cold War of dragons.
Which is funny, because dragons breathe fire!
I get it.
Okay. So think of that question, Serpent. Next question comes from Venom Rules All. Would you like to see Fin Fang Foom in a movie? If so, which? Well, Fin Fang Foom, he's this big alien dragon from Marvel Comics.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
I mean, yes, Superhero Enthusiast, I was listening to a podcast he did about Iron Man 3, and he made a point that I just really like, and it was that I don't care how serious your movie is, but if you have a guy in a suit of armor, he has to eventually fight a dragon. So they need to do Fin Fang Foom in Iron Man at some point. Like, I don't care what logic you use, yes. That's true, it needs to happen. They'll probably shouldn't talk and stuff.
I'm gonna say Fin Fang Foom would appear in either an Iron Man or Thor movie. Maybe you can make him like one monster from the realms if you put him in the Thor movie. Then you can have him talk and stuff like that, or make him some kind of creation from the Mandarin, the real Mandarin. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. Get him voiced by, I don't know, Jeremy Irons or something. Give him a cool voice.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. Okay. So our final question comes from Dio Brando. And he asks, if Mushu from Mulan engaged Dojo from Shaolin Showdown in Mortal Kombat, who would be the one to finish the other?
Oh god, really?
Mushu, because he's voiced by a black guy.
He's more clever.
Whoa! What the hell? Mushu's...
What? Black people can fight.
Yeah. No, that's not funny. That's terrible.
It's true.
It's not, though.
Yeah, it's really not.
Okay.
Yeah, that is awful, Ian.
He and I gets the joke, it's okay.
Seriously, because both dragons are kind of annoying. I'd go with Dojo because he can grow bigger. So he just
I'm not
squish.
too familiar with the other dragon. I know Mushu, but I don't know the other dragon.
Yeah. Mushu's just tiny and you'd yell a lot and crack jokes. Then Dojo would just grow big, squish. And then Smaug would eat them both. Because Smaug is best dragon.
Okay.
Okay, so that was our Q&A. That was a lot of fun. I want to thank Sydpart2, and to an extent, because she had a few good answers here and there. Haley.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, bud.
Yeah, and of course, TheLadyKaylah for coming on here.
No problem.
All right, and yeah, once again, I'd like to apologize for not butchering some names here and there, and also the fact that I couldn't get to everyone's question because they were marked as spam. But my apologies for that. All right, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this, and we out.
Later.
Bye.